Yep, that's my cat Louis. This is a mobility flow I did before a recent pickleball tournament. Beginner, no duper scores were entered. That was my little pickleball dance you just saw. And that's my Eula water bottle, not sponsored, but if you have a connect, let me know. So I first started with coming into my breath, super simple, and then getting into some shoulder rolls, first going forward and then going backwards, reversing the direction, super simple. I tend to hold stress in my neck and shoulders, and I think a lot of people do, especially if you look at your phone, if you drive, if you sit a lot. So this is a really good start. And then I started to do some neck circles. Nothing groundbreaking here. Simple, little movement through the neck, seeing how everything feels. Then I make my way to tabletop so we can get into some cow-cat. Sounds more natural to say cat-cow, but we start with cow. Cow's when you're looking up, your chest is down. Cat, round spine. Feels really good. It's been around forever. Simple, works, gets the spine moving without a lot of effort. And then I like to add some wiggles. Feels good in my spine, my hips, waking up the body. Cat likes to be in the way. This is bird dog, where you're extending one arm and then the opposite leg. I like to lift my leg a little higher than is comfortable before I come in to do the elbow to knee crunch. There's a lot happening here. Pretty simple, but it's balance, coordination, trying not to fall over. I like that it gets the body working together, using multiple muscles, multiple parts of your body, instead of isolating one specific area. You're doing a little bit more, so it's efficient. And then when you put your foot up like that, the scorpion, and then you reach back, you can get a nice quad stretch. It's optional, but I think it feels really good. Something that I forget about. We used to do it all the time in soccer. Good reminder. Then I just remembered that my knees don't feel great. So I whip out my trusty towel to give a little cushion under my knees. Practicing yoga frequently or playing pickleball adds a lot of stress on your knees. So that adds a little bit of help. And then we do bird dog on the other side. I always try to find my balance and center before I come in with the crunch between the elbow and the knee. I try to find my stability, and then I raise my arm and my leg a little higher than is comfortable, and then I come in. Whenever I'm doing that crunch, I really try to be intentional about rounding the spine, like you're in your cat pose. Scorpion on this side. Really lift the knee, and then you reach back, slow and controlled. Quad stretch feels great. Just try it. And then without slingshotting your foot back, you want to release it really gently. Come out of it the way we began. And then a little tabletop. I like to wiggle a little bit. And then I tuck my toes and come into to sit on my toes. Not the most exciting, but you know, if you've ever rolled an ankle or dealt with plantar fasciitis or had foot pain, suddenly your feet become a hot topic of conversation. So always good to give some attention. They're doing a lot more work than we give them credit for. And there's surprisingly a lot of bones in our feet. And then I'm doing some cat-cows in that position. Then we come to tabletop and then pick up our knees off the mat. It's a bear hover, which starts to engage the core, shoulders, legs, and then downward dog. I like to move around in this pose, wake up a little bit, bend my knees, say hello to my hamstrings, my hips, wake up the calves. And then I walk to the top of the mat and forward fold into a ragdoll. As you can see, I'm a big fan of wiggling and stretching my calves and hamstrings. I'm gonna grab my trusty blocks. You don't have to have these, but I like to bring the floor closer to me. My legs are pretty long. This is a super nice hamstring stretch, placing the block in front of your bent knee, reaching the other hand up, and then feeling as if your glutes are being pulled back or your hips are being pulled back. It's a really nice hamstring stretch. Then we do the other side. In pickleball, you're doing a lot of rotating, reaching, turning, recovering, trying to get to balls that you're probably not going to get to. But rotation shows up everywhere. In sports, in life, maybe you're reaching to grab something from the back seat that you forgot was there. So this is good for mobility. Halfway lift, and then come into a low lunge. Arms up. I like to sink a little bit and then grab my trusty blocks. Arms up, and then a little side bend action. When people say that they're feeling tight, it's typically the hips, or at least my first guess is the hips. Not because everyone has tight hips, but because so many of us spend a huge chunk of our day sitting. And so that feels really nice to switch between. And then this is dynamic movement, which feels really nice on your hamstrings. And then prayer twist to the left. More twisting, really good for your spine. Half split. And I like to add dynamic movement, going from the half split to the low lunge, and then using the block for stability to bring the ground closer to me. And then get into a lizard. Really, really great stretch. And I like to use the blocks. So lots happening, hips, inner thighs, hamstring. And then I like to play with bending into my elbow creases to feel extra bit of stretch. And then come into long pyramid, so my legs are straight. And then I'm just tick-tocking forward and back. You know, I'm not really sure what you call this, but this is really good for mobility, doing these dynamic stretches. And then lizard to wide-legged fold. And then Skandasana. Actually hate this pose, but I still do it because it's super useful. Pickleball players move side to side all the time. Tennis players as well. Most of us don't train that very often unless the sport forces us to. Then goddess, which I like to do with cactus arms. So I'm doing some goddess pulses. And then adjusting my front right foot. Warrior 2. And then reverse warrior. Looks really good on camera. Then from reverse warrior, I come up and we start playing with balance. Warrior 3. And then curtsy lunge to curtsy side bend. This one feels really good throughout the outside of the hip and the side body. After another warrior 3, then we come into standing knee raise and then standing figure 4. Forward fold, halfway lift, and we do everything again on the other side. Feels different because our bodies are not necessarily symmetrical. Get those trusty blocks again. Side bends. I feel like I forgot something, so I start to do it again. There we go. Prayer twist to the right. Love me a twist. Low lunge. Let's do that again. Didn't get what I wanted from it the first time. Low lunge to half split. Feels amazing. Great with blocks. Props are your friend. Then half split to low lunge. Then I pick up my knee, make it a lizard, and start bending into those elbow tips. Creates for a deeper stretch, and I also feel like I'm getting a little push-up action. Then preparing for that long, funky pyramid shape. So my legs are straight, and then I'm rocking, and then I'm coming back into lizard, rocking in my long pyramid. Funky dynamic mobility activity. Call it whatever you want. Come back to lizard. And then wide-legged fold. I like to play with bending my elbows to feel that extra stretch in my hamstrings, glutes. Back to Skandasana. Remember to breathe. Some of you might like this pose. Some of you might think it sucks. Either way, it is really good for you, and that's why it's in this sequence. Goddess, cactus, arm pulses. Really opening those hips. Strong hips also make your low back feel more loose and open. Warrior two to reverse. Checking my balance. Getting ready for warrior three. Balance is really good for pickleball, for mobility, for any age, any good sequence. I like to have balance in there. Then a curtsy, squat, or curtsy lunge. It's a curtsy. That's what we're doing. And then I step that foot to the outside and come into a nice side bend. Feels really nice. Curtsy again, and then check my balance. Standing knee raise on the other side. Figure four, standing. Feels really good. Opening your hips. And then forward fold. Bending one knee at a time. It's great for getting into those hamstrings again. Then toe stand. A little bit of balance, a little bit of footwork. But I also just kind of like it as a transition to then get to the ground. So we're seated, getting water. Here's another pose that I don't love, but I am working on getting better at. It is seated forward fold. And if you can't touch your toes, feel free to generously bend your knees. Purpose of this is to lengthen your spine, and then I like to get some side bends in as well. And then always good measure to inhale and lengthen the spine before you bend. These feel really great. Cactus, shoulder, arms. I don't think I said that correctly. You know what I mean? Feels really good. Makes your shoulders look good. We're going to work a lot in pickleball. And then now it's time to make our way to our mats. I like to bend my knees, and then rock them side to side, giving my low back a little massage. And then supine twist. Twists at the end always feel really good. Opposite side. Feels good to look at the hand that's extended, or close your eyes. And then we come into happy baby. If you can't reach your feet, you can also grab the backs of your thighs. And then I like to rock my happy baby. Then long stretch like you're waking up in the morning, full body stretch, and then shavasana or corpse pose. And then to honor my yoga practice, I scoop up all that goodness, bring my hands into my heart, and then thumbs between my brows. Namaste. This flow helped me prepare for that tournament. Got no injuries. Hope this helps you feel good in your body too.